Hey Drew, you killed this shit.
Welcome back, everybody. Another episode in the Four Corners of Wrestling. I'm your host, Marshall, Mr. Soulman Simmons. And before we start, this is a 613 Faye production. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this video. And we appreciate you. So we're going to go around the square circle, hear from my fellas out there. What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's all right.
What's up?
It's all right. What's
Oh,
happening?
yeah.
Will
We're in here.
Quavo, Muscle Man, Rell. What's going on, fellas? Y'all ready to get into today's topics, man?
Oh, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a slobber knocker, I think.
Slobber knocker, baby.
Yes, sir.
Old school Thursday, baby. So you know what that means. We're taking it back in the day one time. Taking it back in the day. This week's pay-per-view of the week, Royal Rumble season. We keeping up with the Royal Rumble. We got the special ones. And this one was a one-of-a-kind Royal Rumble. We talking about the 40-man Royal Rumble from 2011. Damn, this was a good Rumble, y'all. I like this one. My man CM Punk. Yeah, so whoever said CM Punk underrated, go to hell. CM Punk showed his ass. But we're going to go through the card. All right. All right. Starting off, we had Edge versus Dolph Ziggler, and the spear was banned. Dolph Ziggler had Vicky Guerrero in his corner. Then we had Randy Orton versus The Miz. And both of those matches was title shot. I don't know if y'all remember, Edge was the heavyweight champion and Miz was the WWE champion. You know what I'm saying? That's when Miz had run the belt and the girl had the old mean frown on her face, you know what I'm saying? And he just the rematch with Randy Orton, you know what I mean? And Cody was supposed to be there, but he wasn't. So we had a four-way women's match. Layla and Michelle McCool and Natalia Eve all battled for the Divas Championship, which Eve Torres won. And then we had the Rumble match where my man, CM Punk, came in number one. Number two was Daniel Bryan. They put on a hell of a fight. But the big winner at the end was Alberto Del Rio. So we're going to go around the square circle, and I want to get everybody's thoughts, what y'all thought about this thing, you know. And like I say, man, it was good. I like the Rumble match. You know, the spear was banned. And ironically enough, this is the same year that Edge retired. All right. So the Rumble happened in January and he retired in April. So maybe that spear was banned, you know, help protect him and everything, you know, knowing what we know now, you know. So we're going to go around the square circle. I want to get everybody the highlights on the pay-per-view, what you liked, what you didn't like. Did you enjoy it? Didn't you enjoy it? Jay Will, Red Corner, Flair Country. Woo! What you think?
So sitting back and watching this over again, it was a treat actually. First match of the night, like literally besides the Rumble, every match on the card was a title match. World Heavyweight first, WWE Heavyweight next, the Divas title, and then the Rumble. Mm-hmm. Still a solid pay-per-view. 2 hours, a little under 3 hours of a good Rumble to me. I think there were some wrestlers on the Rumble that I was not enthused about seeing. Great Khali, talking about you. It was a good surprise to see Diesel coming back, but I mean, 2 minutes in the ring. He came in and then the worst, he got himself hung up on the rope and hit himself in the nuts. Terrible. Yeah. But the Dolph Ziggler and Edge match, besides the Rumble, might have been the best match of the night for me. Edge doing a lot of great in-ring work. Dolph Ziggler proving himself like always to be such a solid performer. Vicky Guerrero, just interference. The way she utilizes her annoying ass voice, like she is a Hispanic Karen at its best. Excuse me, by her hair. you know that she calls for a manager every restaurant she goes to.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
the Miz fight and Randy Orton match,
That was a good one too.
I've been a fan of Randy Orton for such a long time, and
Mhm.
that match showed how good he really was. Like, and
Mhm.
he honestly still is, but that's another topic. But the Rumble itself, thoroughly engaging. I enjoyed it. It had a lot of high spots,
Mhm.
especially when they had CM Punk in the core in the ring, just
The Nexus, you
running it.
mean? Yeah, the
I mean,
Nexus.
yeah,
Yeah, the new
the
Nexus.
Nexus
Yeah.
running it, running the ring for
Yes.
for a solid block. The only problem that I had with the match was the beginning with the core and the Nexus coming in before the match started,
Mhm.
and I'm just kind of like having a brawl. Like it
Mhm.
was unnecessary. It wasn't needed to help build up any more tension in the Rumble. But overall, it was a solid match. The the finish, it was good to see a different type of finish where it was a funny finish versus a overly exciting finish. You know, with
Mhm.
Alberto Del Rio winning with the man with the cobra.
God, that bullshit. Oh my God.
But
Santino, Morale. Oh my God.
but
That.
overall I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Rumble. Pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, that. Let me tell you, CM Punk. He was doing his thing. Got to remember they interfered in the Miz and Randy match. That was fucking great. And like you said, the way they was just running the Rumble, like I was mad as shit when Cena came out. You know what I mean? Colin, what you think?
Yeah, I mean the Royal Rumble 2011. I was pleasantly surprised. To get to your point, I'll get to that in a second. But you got the championship matches at the beginning. Edge and
Mhm.
Ziggler was a great match with the stipulation that the spear was banned. It made it very very interesting. Vicky
Mhm.
Guerrero was a heat magnet as usual. With that excuse me thing, she really is. She really found her way, especially with Eddie passing and stuff like that. It was really
Mhm.
admirable that Vince and the WWE gave her a job and found her a place in the company, and she really excelled in it. So it's commendable how all my hats off to everybody around with making that happen.
Mhm.
Miz and Orton was a good match, and I don't really like Randy Orton matches all that much, or Miz matches, and let alone that combination together. But they really did do a good job. I forgot about Michael Cole's heel run during this time.
Oh man, he was awesome.
I hated him. He
Fucking awesome.
made me want to turn the channel. I just like he had that X5 go.
Oh
Hey,
man, so you was
I don't.
cool with me, Colin.
Yes, sorry, but yeah, he just bothered the shit out of me. It just was. You know what? He wasn't as bad here in the Royal Rumble, but the run up to his match against the King at WrestleMania, he was totally unbearable. He was just talking over everybody and just insults. It was ridiculous.
Mhm.
Um, to your part again, Marshall, the part with CM Punk and the new Nexus, they dominated I guess the first half of the Rumble, and it was very interesting. And
Mhm.
something kind of bugs me. You know, Basically, I have a problem with the fans. They boo John Cena, they boo John Cena, they boo John Cena. They have something fresh and new and interesting with what's going on with the new Nexus. And oh my gosh, you've never seen a stable basically dominate the Rumble. Here we go. This is very interesting. Could you ride this momentum all the way to
Mhm.
a Punk victory? And then
Mhm.
next thing you know, Cena shows up, Super Cena. He ruins it in 3 seconds. They're all eliminated, and everyone's cheering, and I don't get it. I don't get it. I hate it. And then the next night they go right back to booing John Cena again. You had an opportunity to potentially show, Vince McMahon or the higher ups. Like, no, we don't always have to get John Cena. And
Mhm.
obviously, they just went right into it. Hornswoggle entering was stupid as shit. I hated
Oh
it.
my goodness.
It was terrible. I know we had Mario and Luigi. Oh, I'm sorry, Tone and Cash. My fault. I get them confused all the time. Last week they were talking about little moments in the Rumble and how if you could quote unquote really make someone's career. So
Mhm.
just real quick, Kofi Kingston and John Morrison, they had their little moments.
Mhm.
Good thing for Kofi Kingston, he had all these little Rumble tricks, and it ended up getting him. It ended with him getting a world title shot 8 years later. So he did a great job. That really helped his career. And John Morrison, he had a nice little spot. He leapfrogged and he hung on the barrier. That
Parkour.
did but the parkour, it worked out really well for his WWE career. He was released. He was released 10 months later. So as we move on, Eddie's tribute to Chavo's tribute to Eddie was a
Sweet.
nice touch.
Yeah.
Jerry Lawler sounded like an idiot complaining about how it's supposed to be every man for himself.
Yeah.
It's the Royal Rumble. You can do whatever the fuck you want. It's not that serious.
Right.
But he kept saying it over and over again. That was stupid as shit. And last but not least, I think I'm gonna make a tag, like make a t-shirt and put like a motto, and the motto is gonna be WWE is doing too much again, because they always at one point or another just do too fucking much. Did they really have to fake Santino, having a possibility of winning? That subconsciously devalues Alberto Del Rio's win. What's more impressive, sneaking up and outlasting Randy Orton, or you throw out Santino Marella? So it's just let the man get the win. He it was one of the biggest moments of his career at the time. He's you win the Royal Rumble, one of the most prestigious things you could possibly do in the business. Let him just get that win. But aside from all of that, I was really surprised. It was a damn good pay-per-view.
Okay. Yeah. I was taken back because his announcer used to kill me, dog. Just his own announcer announced his name was hilarious to me. Jose Quavo, what you think about them?
Yeah, that's the thing about this Rumble. It was a roller coaster of emotions, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
To say the least, you have a really great match with Edge. Having the spear band. Oh, you love seeing Edge just pump up and get ready for the spear. Getting just pulling his hair, getting ready, setting up the shot, lining everything up. That's the kind of stuff that just builds excitement. And then also seeing him pull off the spear when no one was looking. You know what I mean? That was a great moment that I know all the fans definitely had to have enjoyed that.
The ultimate opportunist.
You know it. But then on top of that, this is what took him to the other level of opportunist, is that he also did a little shout out to his boy Christian Cage and used
Yeah.
his finisher.
Mm-hmm.
And so these little things that, as a fan, you learn to appreciate, because you got to understand, you're never going to get what you expect. They want to be unexpectable. They want to give you something that isn't cliche. And I think that they did a good job with this Rumble. Having Punk, come in and help Miz take the win. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
That was beautiful, just seeing him crawl back out of the ring and that was
Right.
so it was, there were a lot of emotions, but then you do have the downsides where you're like, fake Nexus and new Nexus. You have Core versus Nexus, which to me was like, oh, can we just get to another part of the show? You have Michael Cole, going up there. I have an announcement from the general manager.
Yeah, the laptop, I couldn't stay. I hated that damn laptop. But
it
just
just
Michael Cole mannerisms was hilarious.
but it's a good thing. It's a good thing because once that got through, the Rumble got going. This Rumble was by far one of the biggest Rumbles. It's a 40-man Rumble. First time in history that number 38 wins. That's beautiful. There's a lot of momentous occasions. The crowd reaction when Booker T came out, I was not expecting that at all. At all.
Big
I
pop.
was I was like, wait, what? How? Wait, what? But
Halftime champ, baby. Shout out to Booker T.
hey, you give it to him, and he did good holding his own against the Nexus. You see him, the moves. You gotta
We
understand,
could have did
they
without the spinning
they're for
Rooney in the Royal
entertaining.
Rumble,
That
though,
yeah,
man.
that was but just about to say that. So man, I could have done without the Booker Rooney, bro. I'm done with it. I'm done. I'm done with the spinning Rooney. I enjoyed the bookend. I won't lie, the bookend looked nice,
Uh-huh.
and it's been a while since we've seen that. But at the same time, I'm like, eh. Everything else, the people that they selected for the Rumble, I feel like were a decent pick, but they could have done with a few better ones. Personally, I don't want to single anyone out just because I can't name all of them, and at the same time, they do things for a reason. they have things to set up. I do agree with Colin 100%. I hate agreeing with the pipe bomb. I bottle rocket. You're the worst, but you got some facts every now and then. That horrible fake build of will he won't he win with the Cobra, and we all knew he wasn't gonna win. We knew Santino wasn't gonna beat Del Rio. But yeah, that subconsciously just made me think, well, yeah, I don't think they're gonna let Del Rio have this for a while. They're definitely he's not gonna hold this for long. So yeah, overall though, the Rumble was worth watching. So if you're listening, I'm telling you, go check it out. You'll enjoy it. It's entertaining.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, it came out in style. I like that car it came out of. That joint was sweet. We had another legend. Nobody said Steven Regal. Lord Regal was in that thing. You know, and we got a first look at your boy the Fiend out there as Husky Harris. I know Muscle
Mhm.
Man Rell like that. What you think about that, Muscle Man Rell? What you think about the Rumble?
I thought the Rumble was I thought it was okay. It wasn't my favorite. I'll be
Mhm.
honest, like everybody, I wasn't that high on it. But I was a massive Dolph Ziggler guy at that time, a guy that I felt I don't want to say he was underutilized. I just felt he wasn't given the chance because they utilized him a lot back then, especially when they
You the
paired him.
show off.
Yeah, when he was the show off, and they paired him with Vicky, so they had a direction for him. Injuries, of course, got in the way of it. Um, and it was injuries, but man, could he sell? And so the match with Edge, I was definitely my favorite of the night. Diesel's appearance was my favorite of the night because even though we saw him as Kevin Nash, I think seeing him come back, hearing that truck, just hearing that, man, nostalgia, it brought me back to like when I was a kid. The only thing that I didn't like was seeing him with that black hair. Because it was like, all right, Kevin, we know you got blonde hair. I mean, you got blonde, brown, whatever. Like, you don't have to do that again. You know what I mean? But I felt that the Dolph was the match of the night. The Miz was never really credible champion, so I really didn't care for that match. Definitely didn't like Randy Orton losing there. So and maybe that's just me being biased because I didn't like him as a champion at all. Did he deserve it? Absolutely, because he did what he was a company guy, but I wasn't really big on him even holding the title to begin with. So
Mhm.
wasn't big on that. Our truth, I think this is when he was at his best. One of his best. I thought he should always be taken a little more seriously. So
Mhm.
that was okay for me. But Alberto Del Rio winning, I think everyone kind of knew that they were headed that way because they were really sold on Del Rio. They kind of, and people don't say it, but they really did kind of push him down everyone's throats because not many people. To be honest, he was kind of boring. He had that whole JBL thing going,
Mhm.
and it seemed like a whole repeat. But so not a lot of people, at least in my circle at the time, were really sold on him. And I think he was kind of just shoved. WWE really wanted him to be. I'm sorry, WWE, don't want a lawsuit here. Um,
Mhm.
they, they really they really pushed him. I heard everyone talking about CM Punk. I'll reserve that for another day. But I laughed when people were talking about the whole Santino Morello to even think that he even had a chance to win. I think at that point we already knew who was going to win, so it
Mhm.
wasn't surprising at that moment. So, but I definitely think the match of the night was Edge and Dolph Ziggler. And it's funny you brought up that interesting fact. I didn't realize that Edge retired shortly after.
Mhm.
So that was a good little tidbit you put in there. It didn't capture my attention, and now it does. Like, maybe that stipulation was there so that he didn't have to use the spear to further
Right.
injury because maybe he was
Mhm.
already being seen by the doctors and they were maybe had an expert and they said, hey, hold off on this move for a little bit
Mhm.
while we figure things out. And so that was pretty interesting that you brought that up because I had no idea. So thanks, Marsh, for them.
Oh, no problem, no problem, us man. I like them fun fact things, and that's one of the things I enjoy about going back and looking at the old school wrestling, getting the nostalgia. We get to put two and two together now. The mindset we have now, the maturity we have now, we're seeing, and it's like, okay, so this is why this happened, or this is why they went in this direction. So maybe 5, 10 years from now, we'll understand why. The stuff that's happening now is happening now. All right. So moving on, we're going to talk about the winner of that magnificent 40-man Royal Rumble, the only 40-man Royal Rumble, I believe. And that was Alberto Del Rio, who's a luchador, trained in MMA, very skilled wrestler, very skilled, been all around the world, been with different companies. Then came to WWE where he had to change it up from what everybody else was used to. And that's when we got the part that we got. Some liked it, some didn't. I liked it. You know, like I said, his ring announcer was one of the best things since sliced bread to me at that time. Like I always laughed, always got enjoyment, always got a kick out of it. But I want to know you guys' thoughts on the rise and fall of Alberto Del Rio. Colin from DC. What are your thoughts?
I loved Alberto Del Rio. I love that dude. His character, his attitude, his own ring announcer, his vignettes where he said he was the bravest of the brave, and
Right?
all of us regular people are mentally constipated, and that's why we're so lazy. Like what? The cars, the fireworks, the ridiculous sarcastic wink he gave everyone. I love that wink. I used to do that wink to my wife, and she would be like, "What's wrong with you?" But I love that stupid wink and that stupid smile. I love that. To me, Del Rio could do no wrong. He had great matches with Cena, Punk, and Ziggler. He was a natural heel. But then he and Ricardo Rodriguez randomly turned face, and I thought that took a lot away from Del Rio's luster. He had a double turn later on, and I think it was like in Chicago. I forgot what the pay-per-view was. He had a double turn with Ziggler later on, and that was amazing. It was absolutely excellent. It was fascinating to watch the psychological dynamic behind that match because he truly and honestly didn't understand why he was being booed so heavily, despite him doing absolutely brutal things to Ziggler, who was coming fresh off of a concussion. So if you watch that match, Del Rio was right. He was trying to win the match. He originally had lost the title due to Ziggler, cashing in Money in the Bank, and he snuck him. And then Del Rio was like, "I'm fighting for the title. You shouldn't be defending the title if you can't be in the match. I'm gonna kick your fucking head off." So he did that multiple times, and the sound of those kicks, my God,
Vicious.
my God, it was like a
Vicious.
gunshots that were going off like shotgun shots going off in the arena. It was sick. But here we go. But something about Del Rio just didn't click in the WWE. Maybe he got caught up in the age of Super Cena. Maybe he got caught up in the rise of CM Punk, but he never like 100% clicked as a certifiable main eventer. He was just there, but he never seemed to belong. Despite he won the Royal Rumble, despite winning the Royal Rumble, the Money in the Bank, and several World Championships, he just was never truly accepted as a main eventer. I think it was Rell who said he just wasn't that all that interesting, and to me he was interesting in other ways. But it's true. I could see how some people, like match-wise, it wasn't like the most interesting thing. But character-wise, I always thought Del Rio could do no wrong, and he was one of the greatest.
Okay. Muscle Man Rell, what do you think?
So I disagree and I agree with Colin on this one. I character-wise, it seemed repetitive just because old heads like us, we were just fresh off JBL not that long ago. So to see a guy come in with the colors and the scar, I always liked that gimmick. That's why I loved JBL. Apparently, a lot of people didn't like JBL. So when I saw the Alberto Del Rio schnick, I kind of was like, I like it. As a wrestler, A1. I think he's an awesome wrestler, but he can be born. And because we did, like I said, old heads like us, saw this, we were kind of just like, but damn, we saw this before. I thought that his face turn was awful, god awful. The smiling, he had his ring announcer who was a monster. Not literally, but he was really good at it. You know what I mean? A manager / announcer. But when he went face, smiling all the time, Alberto, oh, my knee, his knee. You remember when he hurt his knee? his leg, and Dolph
Mhm.
Ziggler captured him. He was like, his leg, he hurt his leg. Someone help him. Like that was just weak, soft, and corny all in one time. Now, me as a Dolph Ziggler fan, loved it. So I was one of those guys like I'm tired of Alberto Del Rio at this point. He's champion, but they didn't know what to do with him, which leads to one of Colin's points is that I do believe he got caught up in the Super Cena era, where you weren't given a fair chance, and that's everybody. Doesn't matter what brand you're in. It seemed that Cena transcended brands that nobody was taken seriously, and that was what hurt with John Cena being being there and being champion. He says no one was ready in one of his interviews I heard, but I think that Alberto could have been credible had they fine tuned his character and not make him such a corny face. And it was that double turn because I think he realized like, why are people cheering Dolph Ziggler while he wins this title while I'm hurt? Because remember, the crowd went crazy for Dolph for two reasons. He deserved it, and another reason they were just tired of seeing Alberto Del Rio. And so I think that also hurt Alberto Del Rio. If the John Cena thing, he wasn't in that era, as well as I think WWE built for him, how they planned him being there was wrong. How they did it wasn't perfect or good at all. Had they done a little bit better, I think that he could have actually been a historical WWE champion, especially him being Hispanic, Mexican. I believe he was Mexican specifically. So I think it could have been something great and bigger, but I think it was bad timing and bad character building by WWE. So I think they missed the boat there, as well as his own personal demons also hurt him. I think we all know about that. We don't have to get into detail about that. Hope he's doing better.
Okay. Quavo.
Yeah, Muscle Man, and Pipe Bomb. They said it best. It's all about how the network handled him. Um, I personally, yeah, at that point, I was done with Del Rio mentally. I kind of like shut down, and I was kind of tired of seeing him on screen. But I knew that it was just he was missing something. You got him set up the right way, but what is he missing? And I still can't to this day pick depict it. But seeing him win at the Rumble, it was like, yeah, it's obvious. He's gonna win against Santino Morella. Ain't no way that's gonna happen.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like I said, from that moment, it was like a shutdown. It was like, oh, he's gonna have the title a lot longer, and I was just like, and or, he's doing his run to the title, and then it's like, okay, I don't know where they're gonna go with this guy, and it's just like, I at that point, I was like, the rise could have been better if it had been packaged better. I guess, it's a lot of ifs, but it's all speculation at this point. Yeah,
Mhm.
you also got to remember your personal demons take a big toll on it too. So I don't know what happened behind the scenes that made that happen. Made certain things that they wanted to go with not possible. So at the same time though, I do hope he takes care of that and gets better and continues to do work because he's done work with Lucha Underground. The guy's solid as a wrestler. So I hope he does, get things better.
Mhm. Well, we'll have to see. He got some things he has to answer for. So hey, time will tell. Who knows what's down the line for him. Jay Will, what's your thoughts about Alberto Del Rio?
So Albert Del Rio was someone that I really didn't want to keep my eye on. He overall uninteresting to me, but when I think about some matches that he had that really sold me to him, of course I didn't know much of him until about like I really started doing more research about him. A huge family lineage with luchadors, and
Mm-hmm.
like if I remember correctly, 5 or 6 family members who are amazing luchadors, and it translated in his work and his matches. He's
Mm-hmm.
had some solid matches. The
Mm-hmm.
TLC in 2010 with Edge, Kane, and Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know Edge is no stranger to a TLC match, but then he had legends like Rey Mysterio, who he I almost idolized as another luchador, and then
Mm-hmm.
Kane in the match, and being able to hold their own. Story wise, the match never really clicked, but if you wanted to watch a good match where there were spots where you just were almost out of your seat. Absolutely good guy to watch in that match. He wasn't. He just did what he needed to do in that match, and I thoroughly enjoyed him. Um, of course, we have changes where with what's going to happen with characters. It was kind of a hard shuffle around in the WWE at the time with him because he started his contract in the WWE in 2009, and we know what was going on at that time. We had a lot of names really brewing up at that time, big names. So like he played his part. His win in the Royal Rumble was a good look for him, growth wise, but solid wrestler, overall solid wrestler. Just wish the best for him with everything else he got going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely get in. Definitely get in. Colin.
I mean, the thing I think it was Rell way back when was that I guess I think he was basically saying something along the lines of Del Rio freshly came off of the back of JBL in terms of that millionaire gimmick. But I would say that he did it better. To me, JBL wasn't that interesting, and I think it was a case of too much too soon with him, and they kind of wasted a year. I guess Eddie couldn't be the champion or whatever. He was being stressed out. He was stressed out or whatever, and they kind of hot shotted the title to JBL. The thing about Del Rio is that shit is not a fucking character. That is Alberto Del Rio. So, for example, Del Rio is it's true. He really was rich. He really had movie star good looks. His father, Dos Caras, is a legend in Mexican wrestling. His uncle is Mil Mascaras, a legend, like the Hulk Hogan of Mexican wrestling. So he really was. Mil Mascaras is his uncle. He really was a product of superior education. He said that in in his vignettes. He's right. He had access to all the best schools in Mexico. He had access to all that wealth. He really, if he wanted to, he could really ride around in all those cars. So the thing was, we always talk about wrestling and your character being true to yourself. What makes the best characters? And it's basically like Austin, right? Stone Cold Steve Austin is basically Steve Austin, except dialed up to 10. Alberto Del Rio is really Alberto Del Rio. And like I said, when it all came down to it, it was unfortunate that he just got caught up into like the Cena Punk era and stuff like that, and it didn't work out. But I always got love for Del Rio. I hope, whatever the hell happened to him, he gets his head on straight. He's got to cut a lot of the shit that he's doing or accused of doing. He's got to cut that shit out. But, hopefully everything kind of works well with him, because I thought he could have been a truly special, all-time great Hall of Fame character. So all the best to him,
Yeah, that character stuff. Yeah, I didn't like none of the stuff I heard either. And like you said, I hope he clears that up. But I definitely think he got some time on his hands to think about that. You know what I mean? Moving on, we're going to talk about another gentleman that was in that Royal Rumble. Been around for a while, doing his thing on the USA Network now. I'm talking about The Miz. I mean, this guy has you've seen him become a wrestler. Like, we literally seen this guy become a wrestler. Told the world, I'm going to go be a wrestler. And fucking did it. You know what I mean? So I want to get you guys' thoughts on the rise of The Miz. Like, he's been called by John Cena as one of the hardest workers out there. And as we know, some people may love John Cena, some people may hate John Cena, but nobody can deny the fact that he is a hard worker there day in, day out. And for this guy to say that Miz is one of the hardest workers out there, he puts in that work, that is saying something. One of the best heels in the game right now, but we are talking about the rise of The Miz. All right? And I want to start with you, Jay Will. What do you think about The Miz?
So, like many others, I did not really shine to The Miz when he first came in. I was first introduced to him on The Real World. And for us to find out that he wanted to do wrestling, and it was literally like, okay, are you doing this solely for your career to boost yourself up? But you sit back and watch some of his work. He genuinely loves the business. He does put in a lot of very hard work. I think that right now, seeing the character that he is now and seeing the character that he was in the beginning, he's developed himself over time, and like he just has this Chad personality where you're just like you think of him as the spoiled rich white kid, and that's what people don't like. They don't want to see that. But if you watch his matches, he's a good wrestler.
Mhm.
I think that he has proven himself time and time again. Some really big matches that he's had.
Mhm.
Uh, Kofi Kingston when he won the U.S. Championship, he won the WWE. He's wrestled Cena, Money in the Bank, Randy Orton, cashing in with Randy Orton, huge moment
Hey,
that you
that
can.
moment still is being played when he won the belt and the little girl had the frown on her face. Like
Yes,
that's history.
yeah,
Come on, you got to be a great heel to get a reaction like that.
yeah. He's definitely a character that has benefited with the time to really nurture himself. I also think that having the run with TV beforehand on shows like The Real World, where there's producers telling them sometimes you need to act like this, you need to bring up the drama, that helps with
Mhm.
wrestling. That helps
Mhm.
with a wrestling character overall. So it's
Mhm.
like now you enjoy that sort of stuff from him. I granted
Mhm.
we when we first introduced, it's like, who is this little punk? But then now you're just like, yo, he's solid. He's entertaining, to say at the least. He reminds me of Edge and Christian when they were younger, when they had that totally reeks of awesomeness when they were wearing the fucking sunglasses and shit. Like he like there's certain traits, things that he does now, and like when he first came in, that reminds me of them that I truly enjoy.
Mhm. Yeah, like he was coming out with his own thing. Crazy. Quavo, think about the Miz.
Man, the Miz is an amazing worker, man. He has a lot of accolades, and I feel like when I
Well,
first
let me
saw
ask you this
him,
before we get started,
mm,
Jose. Let me ask you this.
mm,
What was your impression when the Miz first came onto the scene? Because like you know what I'm
when
saying, Jay will
where
say
it
we
depends
found out
depends
about him at the
where
real world.
depends where you
Onto
consider
the
him
scene,
being on the
WWE
scene.
scene. Because like you said,
So
we found out about him in the real world. He was talking this about, yeah, I'm gonna go do this in WWE, and then he shows up in WWE. And then you
right.
see him do his thing in WWE. You know what I mean? So what are your thoughts about that when he first came in the door, just busting down? And my favorite Miz is intense Miz. You know what I mean? When you get that
Yeah.
intense, when somebody done told him that he can't do something, and he just gets that intensified look like he's gonna go fucking do it. So tell me about your thoughts about him coming in the door, just doing his thing.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing about Miz. I think a lot of people didn't expect a lot out of him because they see him coming from the real world, so they're like, "Oh, he's probably one of those like reality TV personas, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Which if you look at it the right way, like, come on, those reality TV personas do the best in this business. They're like, you're already trained to do exactly what you need to do because you're gonna be great with your gimmick, and it doesn't matter if you're already trained. But on top of the fact that he's also been in Road Rules versus Real World, so the challenges, if you watch enough of them, those are constant obstacle courses, constant taxing on the body. So the stamina is built. Okay. So at least you know the guy isn't like a couch potato hopping onto the scene out of nowhere without any kind of ability, right? But now you got him performing, and I think that's why I ask you where you consider his debut, because he did host what was it, like a bikini contest or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then he did his debut, and then he was like monstrous when he first came in. Like I was like, dude, take it easy. That other guy is a wrestler. Like you gotta like, yeah, I feel bad for Mizaki, bro, because like, yeah, bro, like this is just an episode of SmackDown. You go easy. But like you could see that he actually had potential, and then seeing his growth overall, like it's like, okay. Miz does great promos on network TVs.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably done some of the best, if not matching what Cena's done on a lot of other networks.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, he knows how to work the mic. Um, he's great with Vinez. Like it's just something about Miz that people get to see more often is the versatility in the way that he works in a match, and even the way he like had that he played off and sold that like surprise look like how did I win this match in the 2011 Rumble. It's like come on bro, you were gonna win, come on bro. But the way you pulled it off and made it look like for us we don't mark out, but for I know a kid watching brand new to this, he's gonna definitely mark out. He'll be like,
Mhm.
"What? Even he believes it? Yeah, I can't believe he believes." You know what I mean?
Like that
So
wasn't Alex. Who was that?
you know what I mean? So it's the little things that I know he does for the fans. Miz, I know even as a heel, young fans started liking him. Overall, he's done a lot of matches. I don't know where he ranks in most matches, but rivalries wise, he's done a lot of good rivalries. His rivalry versus MVP was fairly decent. Like it made me watch MVP, and I was like, okay, see, yeah, MVP has good moves too, and it's just seeing how he works. His work rate is decent, and that finisher, come on now, it's nice, it's nice. But I don't want to take up too much of the mic. But I like Miz. I like Miz.
Okay, okay. Muscle Man Rell, what are your thoughts on the rise of the Miz?
I think he has an inspirational story. I think that's the most I take away from everything I listen to what everybody says. I'm just gonna keep it more personal, somewhat personal, is that I think it's a valuable lesson and a good lesson that if kids are watching that. Hey, look, you can make it. I mean, he was laughed
Mhm.
at, even on Real
Mhm.
World.
Facts.
I don't know if the kids nowadays aren't old enough to know about that, but he was on the show Real World, I think with Coral. If y'all ever watched it, Coral and a few others, those are the only two people I remember. But he called himself the Miz, based off of The Rock. His whole
Mhm.
character, the Miz, was based off of The Rock, and they
Mhm.
laughed at him. He used it to get laughs within the house, and he
Mhm.
took
Those
that.
that don't know, his name is Mike.
Yeah, his
That's
name
his
is
first
Mike
name.
Mike Mazzani, I think,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And but the Miz was came off of The Rock. And you remember in
Mhm.
the house, he used to do promos like The Rock, hold the
Mhm.
mic and do all that and quote the Rock at times. And I think that it's a good and warm story to tell. If you see a guy and you're getting laughed at, don't give up on your dreams.
There
Because
you
this
go.
man, he came in looking a hot mess. I mean, he had those long shorts on when he was with, I think, Morrison. I mean, he looked
Mhm.
awful. His whole attire was awful. And then he got serious, did all the hard work, changed his whole. Um, he didn't really change his gimmick, but he changed the attire, and it
Mhm.
made a big impact on his career moving forward. Even taking the WWE logo, turning it upside down, something simple as that. And look,
Mhm.
people ran with it. The man has a wrestling mind. He takes the wrestling business, someone said it earlier, he takes it very serious. And you
Mhm.
can tell by the character development that he has. You can put him as a heel. He's not the best face, but you could he's still good enough to be both. His
Mhm.
mic work is the most impressive. He can have a match with anybody, but his
Mhm.
mic work is second to none. And it's super underrated. It's not talked about enough of how good he is on the mic. And I can see him long term as a manager for somebody in the years to come when
Mhm.
he decides to hang it up. He has that good of a mic skills. He can carry a wrestler if he wants to. Um, So that's pretty much how I feel about the Miz. I
Mhm.
really can care less to see him as a champion in the future. I think he doesn't need it anymore. I think he's
Mhm.
reached a part of his career where I don't need to hold the title. Um,
Okay. Okay.
I
I'm gonna
don't think.
stop you right there. We're not gonna get too far into that. We just
Yeah,
wanna keep it
thanks.
right there at the beginning, you know what I'm saying? But I thank you for your thoughts there, Muscle Man. And like as you said, this goes out to anybody listening, boys, girls, men, women. You got a dream, something that you want to do, man, go do that shit. Anybody tell you can't do it, they saying that because they can't do it. Don't ever let somebody tell you what you can't do. All right. Colin from DC, what's your thoughts on the rise of the Miz?
Well, I mean, the Miz is a classic overachiever. I think plain and simple. The man can talk. especially when he feels slighted. But he's got all these accolades in the run up to Money in the Bank and the WWE title, but he still never clicked with me. I feel like he's on that Sheamus, Morrison, Ziggler, McIntyre level. I feel like any one of those people could have been put into that same situation and done almost the exact same thing. His matches are no better or worse than them. To be honest with you, I can't name a Miz match that like transcends time, where you could be like, oh, you know what, Miz is an all-time legend. He's a Hall of Famer based on solely this specific match. I mean, he's had a couple of great matches with Ziggler, a couple of great matches with Roman, but I don't, it hasn't been like this is his Hall of Fame defining match. He's supposed to be a classic chicken shit vulnerable champion that could get beat by anybody on any given night. People invest in Miz because they want to see him get his head knocked off, but I didn't see it that way. I just wanted to kind of change the channel anytime I saw his dumbass face on my screen. So it's kind of like, it's just a tough situation because I guess he did his job. He did his job. He did what he was supposed to do, and to everybody else's point, it's true. He was on the Real World with Coral, who was pretty hot at the time. He was the Miz. He would act like The Rock. He came up. He was always cutting promos on people. And for example, he finally got to the WWE, and he was hated. Chris Benoit, I think, took his stuff and threw it out in the garbage or something like that. I think JBL did the same exact thing. But
they thought he was trying to pretend to play wrestler. Yep.
Exactly. He did work his way up. He hustled and he grinded. And that's the one thing about Miz is he could always be counted on. So say, for example, you got to go do, hey, you got to go on this radio show, or you got to go on this TV show to hype up the WWE. You could always count on the Miz to go out there and give a good speech, a good promo, and really bring some hype to the WWE. So in that way, he's commendable. But me personally, he never clicked with me. I don't like his stupid face. I don't like his stupid mannerisms. I don't like his stupid haircut. I don't like his bandana or his glasses. He's just there for me. I really do think the guys like Ziggler and McIntyre and Sheamus and Morrison, all of those guys, even Zack Ryder to a lesser extent, all of those guys are like a cluster of like B-level, high, like I'll say upper B-level, even Kofi Kingston, upper B-level talent during that era. You got the main event, you got the main people, obviously like Orton, Batista, Orton, Cena, but all those other guys were like right underneath them. But he had a great career. He went from nothing to something. So commendable.
Right, definitely. I can't stress it enough, man. Just follow your dreams. Not everybody's gonna like you, and they're not supposed to. As long as you like yourself, hey, do what you want to do. As long as it makes you happy and you ain't harming yourself or nobody else. But speaking of what makes you happy, and I believe it was Muscle Man Rell that brought up his finisher, we're going to have a little fun right now. And we're going to start talking about some finishers. Who doesn't like finishers? Like, people get out their seats when they see somebody about to hit their finisher. You know what I mean? Like, you got the right finisher. That don't get a good pop. You know what I mean? But right now, I want to get you guys' opinion on the most underrated finishers. Okay? For me, most underrated, I got two. All right? I'm going to give you guys a chance. You get two, and I want you to tell me your two. But for me, my two is the Clothesline from Hell by Bradshaw. A simple clothesline, but boy, he put that emphasis on it, boy. And then Black Mass. That jump is sick. Straight karate kick to the head, down for the count, baby. So those are mine. We'll go around the square circle, get everybody's underrated finishers, and see what they think. All right. And since we ended off with you, Colin, I want to start off with you. So what's your underrated finishers, man? What you got in the arsenal?
So for underrated, I've got two. I've got actually the Spine Buster, which is an oldie but a goodie. I just randomly thought about it. The Spine Buster, but preferably my favorite two was Farouk's Spine Buster. That was nasty, and Arn Anderson's Spine Buster. Just the snap, snap of it, amazing. But Farouk's was crazy because he, the dude would run at him and he just grab him with basically one arm, lift him up, and just bam, slam him right back down. It was just, Farouk's got that power. And then obviously, Arn Anderson, the double A, that trademark snap. And then my second one was the DDT. And obviously it's a lost art, but back in the day, back in the 80s, Jake the Snake, that DDT was the most lethal weapon, lethal move in wrestling altogether. Also, it evolved. And Raven's, we don't even really talk about ECW all that much, but the even flow DDT, Raven's DDT was fucking amazing. Just boom, he hooks you in, and a quick short drop, and you're out. It was very smooth, very fluid. So the spine buster and the even flow DDT was my favorites in terms of
underrated. Okay. Jay Will, what's your two underrated finishers? If they fucking with my clothesline from hell by JBL or that Alistair Black Mass or Colin's finisher, what you got in your arsenal, bro?
So I'm going to honestly put up his DDT up against Sting's Stinger Death Drop. Hands down, a devastating move. Granted, we all kind of get used to Sting coming in the ring from the rafters and just dark and broody. But when he did that Death Drop you on the back of your head, fuck up your neck, fuck up your head, fuck up your spine, bro, that move was solid. It genuinely looked devastating. And that's why, I feel like the ones that we know what wrestling is, we know that they trained and know how to take a bump. But watching that move, it's literally like, okay, how do they train themselves to take this hit right here? But then my second one, I'm not going to lie to you, I had a hard time deciding on this one, but I want to go with the Taz Mission. The Taz Mission, if you guys remember, it's honestly just a different variant on the sleeper hold, where you lock in that hole, and Taz will wear you out even harder, making you lose your breath a lot harder.
Damn near
and then you eventually just choke you out, and you'd have to tap out. Yeah, lie to you not. That was my signature move on every wrestling game that I played where you could create a character. I had the Taz Mission as my back finishing move. That move was lethal.
Okay. Muscle Man Rell, what you got in your arsenal for your underrated finishers?
So I'm gonna go say the FU by John Cena. I'm joking. But the most underrated, I'm gonna go ahead and I might just switch this up for a second. And I'm gonna go ahead and say the Perfect Plex by Kurt Hennig. And there's something about that move that is just so smooth, and it's just a simple suplex. But it for some reason, everyone knew once Mr. Perfect hit that, you weren't kicking out. And I drew to that move. It's not going to be the popular choice by any means, but I definitely feel that's one of the most underrated moves. And it's become watered down somewhat. But when Mr. Perfect did that, you weren't kicking out. And I'll go ahead and say Gangrel's the Impaler. It's similar to the DDT. I know the DDT even flow, Scorpion Death Drop was mentioned, but the Impaler where Gangrel used to lift you up and then drop you while moving your body at the same time. No one talks about the move. That was one of the coolest moves I ever saw as a kid, and it definitely ranks even the top 5 finisher ever. So that's definitely the most underrated move. I'll put those two as my most underrated moves.
Okay. Well, I will tell you this. The Perfect Plex used to be one of my favorite moves to put my little brother in. Don't tell nobody. All right. Jose Quavo, what you got in your arsenal as your two underrated finishers?
ooh, I've been waiting. See, because I saw this in the Rumble. And the moment I
Mm-hmm.
saw this, I was like, "Oh, it's been a while since it's been done right." Even by the dude that made it obvious that it was his move, the Unprettier, okay, which was
Mm-hmm.
renamed the Kill Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I personally think it's very underrated. It's one of those moves that it's like, okay, how is he going to defend himself? He's literally face planting straight to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
And
done
that's
the right.
Christian's move, right? You talking about Christian's move, right?
Oh,
For
you
those that
know
don't
it.
know.
You know it. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
boy.
That man, Mr. Cage. He does good work with that move. I like how Tyler Breeze is actually using it now.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly enough, I'm not a big Tyler Breeze fan.
Okay, okay, okay. You know,
but
we staying with here. Stay with me now. Stay with me now.
but
Don't
but
interrupt.
but I will tell you this one move that is also underrated. That has been used, and I guess it just stopped being used as a finisher was the flying crossbody. Um, that by far was one of the best moves to just close out a match with. It, always left you with a clean finish. But over the years it has been watered down, but I still think it's a great move.
Yes, yes, yes. An honorable mention. Honorable mention. I'm gonna slide this one in there. The Rude Awakening. Ooh, y'all remember that one?
Ooh.
Ooh, fuck your neck up. Ooh, yeah. All right. Moving on to the next one. Overrated finishers. I'm sorry. I gotta say it. The fucking leg drop.
What the?
That is some bullshit of a finisher. Hogan, yeah, and the Cobra. Come on, really? Really? Fucking Cobra as a finisher? Come on now. Give me you guys' takes on overrated finishers. You're like, really? What the fuck? All right. I want to hear you. Jose Quavo. Quavo. I'm going to start with you.
See, I don't want to take your choices because it was a great one. I would have gone with the Cobra too.
Yo, you that did some bullshit now. Come on now.
I would have definitely gone with the Cobra too. It's just whack. I'm sorry, no.
Yo, you try that shit in the street, you get your ass whooped, bro.
Yes, yeah, no, no, I'm sorry, no, it's not gonna happen. That ain't for
Hey.
you. Leave it at home. No, but one of those overrated moves. I know I'm asking for chair shots by saying this. So just know, whoever's gonna come with it, you better be ready to back it up that it's an amazing move and that it's underrated. Because overrated, be honest with you, that five knuckle shuffle. I am
Oh, that
sorry,
bullshit.
Fruity Pebbles, it does not work for me. So you know how y'all know how I feel. All the listeners know how I feel about you know who.
Hold on. You
But
can't see me and get the dirt off your shoulders? You ain't
oh
rocking with
no, oh no.
that?
I think no, but it even shows you like even in this rumble, you had Hornswoggle doing it, and I was like, oh
Painful to
no.
watch. So painful to watch.
Hey, but it is what it is. But those are my two choices for overrated.
Oh man, okay, okay. Muscle Man Rell, down to you, baby. What are your overrated finishers, man? Are they worse than the Cobra and the big leg drop?
I don't think much is worse than the leg drop. I don't know how many times you see a leg drop in a match and it doesn't end it. So, but
Yeah, hey, the only person it can
uh,
work for, and I
it's
hate to jump into the present, is Nia Jax. You know what I mean? Like the leg drop is not
absolutely,
working as a finisher. Stop it.
absolutely, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Uh, you know what? I'm gonna stick with your group here, and it was the ally to Hulk Hogan at one point, but then became his enemy at
Mhm.
another point, and came to transfer power. So I'm gonna stick with the Gorilla Press, Ultimate Warriors finisher. Gorilla Press slam. I don't know how many times we've seen somebody get slammed to the ground on their stomach and it does nothing other than they
Right.
hold their stomach. And then the body slam, him running into the rope and jumping on them. I think I've
Uh,
seen Ultimate Warrior jump on many people and it doesn't end the match, but for some reason, a Gorilla Press mixed with the body slam ends the match. It ends Hulk Hogan. The great
uh,
out,
you
out
mean
of
the
all,
back body splash when he drops him in the air and then hits him over and splash him in the back or
yes,
something?
yes, Hulk Hogan
Yeah.
get pumped up and come back from any match, but for some reason, this
gorilla press slam and with the body slam, it's so painful. Hulk Hogan can't kick out of it.
He
But
got that kryptonite in it.
we'll move on from that. The lion salt. I have two more. The lion salt I thought was stupid. I never liked it, and I think it's weak.
Okay.
And
Nope, you only get two. You only get two. Stop right there. You only get two.
damn.
You only get two. That's right.
All right.
That's right. Back to your
I'll
corner.
put the lion salt. We already. There's nothing for me to
See, that's what happens when you leave me and you don't help me rack the weights, bruh.
I know. I
Gotta be a
apologize.
proper
I
spot. So back to
apologize.
your corner.
I'm walking back to the corner. I'm
All
walking
right,
back
all
to the
right.
corner.
Jay Will, what's your overrated finishers, man? Give me your overrated finishers. Are they worse than the Cobra and the big leg drop?
I don't think anybody's worse than the Cobra or the leg drop. Yeah. Oh my gosh. They're just way like it's so sad when you can see. We're not going to talk current, but when you see a wrestler's finisher become a normal move throughout a match,
right?
it's gotten so bad. But so for mine, when I think about a finishing move, I expect it to be devastating. I expect it to have a huge impact on me.
Mhm.
Just as an example, the pedigree, hands down, is my favorite finisher of all time. It literally face plants you, and then at insult to injury, a nigga's nuts is on the back of your neck. Insult to injury. So when I see moves like the Swanton Bomb, that literally looks like you're doing more damage to yourself than anyone else, I cannot sit here and say that, man, yeah, that move is dangerous. I really believe that this nigga got hurt. Like, there's no way I can sit here and say that, man, that move is so cool. That really hurt him. That really knocked him out. No, it didn't.
The only time that move hurt is when he jumped on you. You was laying on a table or a ladder. That's the only time that shit hurt.
That is 100% facts. The time that move looked the most devastating was when it was a TLC match or a table match or a ladder match. It, like, with enough height, yes, I can see that. But from the top rope, bro, this does not. No, it doesn't. This ain't it for me. And then Lex Luger and his WCW run with the torture rack of doom. Oh my gosh.
You going on Lex, bro?
To prepare for this episode, I sat back and watched him put the Giant, aka the Big Show, in the torture rack. And never in my life have I seen a move where someone struggled so hard to get the person in the move, and you could literally hear his back ripping in places as he lifted up. Like, it looks more painful to the user than it does to the person who's receiving it.
Right.
Like, there's no way you can tell me that the torture rack of doom actually hurt. No thanks. I'm good. I'll pass on that.
Yeah, it hurts. You just got to get, the right size person in the torture rack. Like, he was just insane with that. But the Roy's, baby.
If he put Rey Mysterio in it, yes, but you cannot sit here and tell me him putting Goldberg or a Big Show on his shoulders did that move make sense? That it hurt them?
Nah. That's nah. I mean, Big Show. First of all, Big Show gotta let you get him in there, like kind of like Andre letting you body slam him. First of all, and yeah. Okay.
Is it okay if I have a little pushback on that? If no one minds.
Pushback
on the torture rack. Because remember he did it to Diesel, and it worked. And Diesel's a 7-footer, close to it. So
who you think took the brunt into that? Did Diesel catch the brunt into that?
Or he caught it when he was in WWF. When you remember when he was not the narcissist, that's when he was heel. But when they wanted him to be the next Hulk Hogan, Diesel caught the torture rack. And he did a hell of a job. The torture rack is one of the sickest finishers. And as kids, we looked at it and it looked painful as hell. Now, I don't know if you were specifically talking about that torture rack against the Giant, which I agree with. But as a finisher, my God, that thing looked painful as hell. So that's where I have my pushback at.
Oh, Muscle Man coming in with the Cobra.
I mean, Rell said it very, very nicely. I'm not I don't know what the fuck Jay Will is talking about, but the torture rack is one of the greatest finishing moves of all time. Okay, he struggled. He struggled with the 7'4", 560-pound giant. Okay, a lot of niggas are gonna struggle with that. What does that mean?
Yeah.
But he put it on damn near everybody else. He put it on Hulk. He put it on Sting. He put it on Goldberg, and he did a damn good job with it. He put it on whatchamacallit, Dean Malenko and Jericho and all those boys. So I don't want to hear any of that. He put it on Conan and the rest of the NWO. So I don't want to hear that shit. Just because he struggled with somebody who's 7'4", 560 pounds, I don't give a fuck about that. That's impressive. He even got him up that way. So by the way, hold on one second, Marshall. You can't say shit because you talked about Hulk Hogan. Oh, I'm coming for you right now. You're about to get this work. Hulk Hogan was over 300 pounds. He at the time, at the height, he was over 300 pounds, dropping a leg on your head and or your chest. He is 300. Imagine dropping a 300-pound weight on, jumping up and then down on. Jumping up and then down on your chest. That's gonna knock out all. That's gonna do all sorts of damage. So I don't want to hear shit. When the day is done, no. My time. Get back to your. Get back to your corner. Hulk Hogan beat who? Ric Flair with that move. Hulk Hogan beat who? Macho Man with that move. Hulk Hogan beat who? Andre the Giant with that move. That's it. He dropped the big leg on Ric Flair and on his head and his chest and put him down for the 3 count. He did the same thing for Macho and Andre. So nobody can say shit about that move. That's the greatest fucking move of all time. And no one will talk about Hulk Hogan in this damn place.
So I'm about to go on my Michael Cole heel run. As I said in the beginning, it is Royal Rumble season. So pretty much like fuck everything you just said about that leg drop, because now Hulk Hogan can't walk for shit because of that corny ass leg drop. And the only person that can get away with using it, hate to bring it to the present time, is Nia Jax. His finisher is a basic wrestling move. You know what? They got a thing called a snap leg drop now because it's so fucking corny. You know what I'm saying? He should have been eating his, that's right. He should have been eating his vitamins and found a different fucking move. And then maybe he could walk better. Maybe he wouldn't have so many hip problems. But he chose that lame ass move because he only had what, 4 moves? Come on, man. Come on.
Can I tag in? Just one phrase. I've seen a Big Show leg drop somebody and they kicked out of it. So Hulk Hogan's 300 pounds.
Yokozuna dropped a leg drop. And come on. That is just a regular.
This is where you kind
of Hulk Hogan's wrestling
you going
IQ
well.
is only on selling. There, I said it. I still love you. There. That's like I said, in honor of Michael Cole, heel run in the 2011 Royal Rumble. There, I said it.
Wait. First off, you guys said Yokozuna dropped a leg drop. Quick question: who did Yokozuna beat? Excuse me. Rewind that. What move did Yokozuna use to beat Hulk Hogan to get his second world title? I'll wait.
Why don't you enlighten us?
It's the leg drop.
You want to tell us?
It's the leg drop. It's the leg drop. So the leg drop is a dangerous move as long as it's applied the right way. As long
no keyword by the right person.
And that is Hulk Hogan by his 6th world title. Or by his 6 or 10 or whatever world titles. Hulk Hogan was 300 pounds. That dude is great. Do no wrong except for calling, saying his daughter can't date niggas. Other than that, that man can do no wrong. And real quick, for my overrated, I've got the People's Elbow. The People's Elbow was nonsensical. Come on, it's an elbow drop to somebody's heart. That's ridiculous. And I got the attitude adjustment. That shit's lame as hell. It's just a fireman's carry. It's a fireman's carry and you throw somebody off. There's no power, there's no momentum. I will say, if Cena's doing the super attitude adjustment off the top rope, that shit's impressive. But yeah, no, the attitude adjustment, kind of, somebody said it earlier on. Hornswoggle in that damn Rumble was doing the fucking attitude adjustment to Tyson Kidd. He looked lame as shit. When Cena, Cena's not even like when he's throwing them or when he's trying to leverage their weight, he's not even doing it with any type of power. He really is just kind of like tossing them off and then just kind of going down with them. So there's no, Keith Lee has a variation that's kind of like that, but he's shifting that big body on top of him. So it's a weird situation. Cena, he does things too loosely. Even Cena's STFU. He doesn't. Austin actually had a problem with it. and said, you know, you need to
Mhm.
cinch that thing in, and you need to look like you're really choking these motherfuckers out. Because a good amount of the time, it just looked like he's kind of just holding them there. So Cena has a lot to has. I don't know. He needs to work on. I mean, well, I was gonna say he needs to work on some new moves, but his career is pretty much over anyway. So you know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm in my heel mode. He's like your guy, you know, when he got a certain set of moves, but he did widen his arsenal a little bit. And yeah, that move, yeah. But I still like my two the best. Cobra, big leg drop, curve drop say. That's what we're doing. And that's our show for today. Y'all fellas have fun today. Y'all fellas have fun today.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah, man.
entertaining. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I
I
was
have
marking
fun.
out for like 4 minutes there.
I think we kept it pretty civil this show, which is I'm proud of you young cats. It's like, no, I'm proud of you guys for I'm joking. Next time it won't be so nice though. So but it
Hey,
was a good show, guys.
I think we did service to the Royal Rumble season. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta mix it up. You know what I mean? So once again, we like to thank everybody for joining us. This has been a 613 Faye production. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to check out my man Tone and Cash Gaming Pad Podcast Thursdays at 11 a.m. on 613 Faye on YouTube. I am your host, Marshall, Mr. Soul Simmons. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, y'all can catch me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Once again, repeating it, 613 Faye Productions. And lead it to the professionals. Don't try this at home. Later.